Alright, looks like we have a picture. Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. This is primarily just going to be a test, but if you guys want me to keep on going, then let me know. I'm going to be watching the chat in Discord primarily, but I'll try to keep an eye on things. Alright, I see Red Panda's in here. How's it look so far? I know it's like a little bit of a delay in the way it's working here, so I can't really watch the screen on YouTube and actually try to do it at the same time. So, all right, guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and just keep on rolling for right now, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so just a quick recap of where we were from earlier. I was having a lot of issues, and I just ended up saying the heck with it. And at the end of the last video, I actually had a hailstorm kick in, and it was pretty rough. So what we've got is Shinbi, the little sweetheart, and we've just for right now we put a temporary health bar on the bottom right hand, and we added a pain sensor here, jacked it up to 50 so we can knock off a good chunk of her health, and a slow regen on her health just so it'll come back up nice and slow. And what I was going to do for this video was, for the next video, was going to go ahead and add in a target dummy to work with and maybe a health pickup or something of that nature. Then again, I was going to try to do some other things too. I've gone ahead and imported in Decker, and the problem with when you load each of these new assets in, it takes forever to go through all of the shader compiling, so I'll kind of wait for another video until I can actually get all those pre-compiled, so you're not waiting and watching me compile shaders. I think what I'll do for right now is I'll put a target dummy over here. We've got our NPC folder and blueprints folder, so all I'm going to do is come into our player folder. I'm going to grab the old player base, and I'm going to drag a copy of it in here. And I'm going to go ahead and rename that, and then we're going to call this NBC base, and we'll go into it. And the things that we're going to need is none of this. We don't need any of the control mechanisms. We don't need a follow camera. We don't need a camera boom, and we don't need, for right now, any of these, and we don't need the event dispatcher as well. So really and truly, and I'm going to go ahead and compile and save just to keep it nice and simple, we have the UE4 mannequin, and just so that we know that at first glance, even though we know it's going to be a target dummy, let's just add something silly in, and we'll add a new component, and we'll just add a text render, and that text render, we'll change the text over to I'm a big dummy, and we can go ahead and slide that over and move it up a little bit to put it over top of his head. Now I'm going to compile and save for right now, and then what I'll do is I'll drop him into the map, get him spun around here real quick, and as you see, yes dear, do your thing. As you see, it shows the text over his head, and yeah, you can see behind it as well. And as he's moving around, the text stays stationary, and it'll stay in a fixed position. If you wanted to make it to where it moved around with him, you could actually come in here to the parent socket and attach it to the mesh actually, and then I don't know, let's attach it to the, if you attach it to the head, you're going to get a lot more movement. So I would say probably move it down to somewhere lower, Look, I'm going to move it down to spine 2. I'm actually going to come right over here and disable real time so we stop swaying and bobbing around. And then we can actually take it and rotate it. And let's rotate a little bit more. And then we can take it again and move it to above his head. It just adds a little bit of something else. Let's see. There we go. And probably need to move it farther forward too. I mean, I'm not going to spend a whole heck of a lot of time just aligning all this just for this sake, but you get the picture. Compile and save. And what do we break? Let's turn it back on real time. There we go. And that's good enough. Compile and save one more time. Now, as we look at them, that sword's sticking in an unusual location there. Just by doing that, it lets the text move a little bit. Now, if we try to attack him, it's not going to do anything because of a couple reasons. The fact that the sword actually doesn't do any damage, and he doesn't have any damage to take away. So really quickly, all we got to do is come in here and add a variable, call that health, and we'll change that over to a float. Compile, save, and we're going to set his health to 100, and then compile again and save again. Okay, now he's got 100 health, and we need some way of causing damage. The next thing, which probably won't work the first couple times I work with it, so bear with me. The character itself, if we're to look at the mesh, and let's actually look at the skeleton. It's in a Y pose, just like the regular UE4 mannequin, and it uses the same bone system, but it has a lot of extra sockets and a few extra things like the weapon R. We've got the sword. It's already attached, so it's difficult to try to add and remove to make it work. So what I want to try to do is add some form of collision box for the sword. And again, it may or may not work on the first few tries, but whatever. So let's go to our blueprint, our player base. And instead of running the player base, the problem we're going to run into is the same thing we ran into for using her as the player base. And that's because the animation blueprint has reference to a couple things, and for now it won't be a problem. So I'll go ahead and just attach to the player base. Look at the mesh, see her sword there. We're just going to need to create a collision box and then attach it to the sword, and let's see what happens. So add a component. I'm going to add a box collision, and then we're going to take that, and we want to definitely make sure it's attached to the mesh. I just unattached it, but with it attached to the mesh, the parent socket, then we want to look for, let's go with sword tip. So you can see that it's now moving around and based off of the tip of the sword, which is lovely. I'm going to go ahead and compile and save, and then again, I'm going to turn off real time, and I can start scaling this down. And I definitely want to move it some as well. Now you have to keep in mind that once you create a live sword edge here, you don't want to make the collision box too big, because what's going to happen is she's going to end up either, if you do it wrong, damaging herself. Oop, too much. So again, let's undo our snapping. Actually, nope. Idiot. Alright, you guys did that. You made me do it. So you want to decrease the size so it's pretty close to the size of what you're actually working with. And again, it's just primarily because the way it all works is you're creating a collision box, and you want to make sure that that collision box is, and yes, we can go ahead and turn it off now, going to hit your intended target and not yourself. Alright, so now our sword has collision, and we want to be able to make an overlap on that. So again, we're going to have to go back to our target dummy. Yes, I know. Thank you. So now the sword has a collision box there, and we wanted to create an overlap event of the sword actually hitting the NPC. And what could happen when you're trying to set this up is you have your capsule collision here, and it's not always going to be the most reliable, and hitting the actual player itself or the character itself is not going to work as good. So one thing you can actually do is add in a capsule collision. The other idea is to actually create individual, like a chest, a collision, a head collision, things like that, but let's not get technical. So we've got the collision here, and we're going to call this our hit box. Now our hitbox, we definitely want to make sure is attached to our mesh as well. And let's go ahead and attach that to the hip. Turn off real time. And let's go ahead and get it in position. Now I noticed that where you're working this way, you actually have to move your mouse to get access to making your changes here. You just want to scan around a couple different locations and try to get it as close to possible to being the center of the body. And I'm actually going to scale it up a little bit too. Let's scale it outwards so that we cover more of the body. Again, it's not a precise science here. You know, you could really get carried away with creating this, but this is going to be good enough. This is going to give us a collision that's big enough. Alright, so all we need our sword to do is hit this collision box, and that should be enough to make it happen. So again, this is all spitballing, making this up as I go along. Well, Ryder, it was good for you to drop in here. Alright. Yeah, the multiplayer lobby thing, yeah, Red Panda, it works great. I love it. It really does. And I can just drag it in here and it'll work. If you guys would like me to include that as part of the project and make an actual playable version where I can do short versions and upload them to Discord for public testing, let me know. And I'll do that, where we can actually go in and play together and see what's going on with it. Alright, so with the hitbox, let's come down here and we want to do on component begin overlap. Oh goodness, would you just, yeah, do your thing. You're moving now. So we go back to our event graph. We've got our on component begin overlap, and we really want to have, we'll call this sword sword collision box. So we have a defined name for it, so we can try to access it. And for now, I'm going to do a cast to player base and run the overlapped component actually needs to be that sword hitbox. So we get this sword collision box. That's our target. And I'm probably screwing this all up because our overlapped component needs to be that. But we're going to run a test here just to be on the safe side. And let's do a print text. Print text is like one of the most useful things you can do. And let's go ahead and say, ouch. Ouch, damn it, that hurt. And we're going to go ahead and change the color to our red. And duration to 5 seconds. Lovely. Again, this is probably not going to work the way we want it to, but it's all part of the whole thing. Just testing things out. Now, the problem you're going to run into is that sword, whenever it makes contact with anything, whether it's intentional or not, you see that I'm turning sideways and I'm hitting him with the sword. So it's nice that I can actually trigger it this way. And the sword is actually hitting him, and that's good. So we need to create a variable system to know that is attacking. Well, we do have one. So we have is attacking. So let's try this. Let's move our print text over. And get is attacking. And let's go ahead and throw in a branch node. Because we know that it is attaching is actually movement from the actual attack. You are doing an attack. So if is attacking is true, then we want to go ahead and print string. So let's try that, see if it only triggers when we're actually swinging the sword. Yes, yes, do your heart. So again, let's just try walking by. It's not hitting him, so alright, so that's really close range, but she is hitting him. It's not 100% reliable, so we probably want to make the collision box a little bit larger, but it gets the point across. So we know that it works. And something I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to grab the animation starter project, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to the project really quickly. Not that I need those animations, but I need one animation, and that's just going to be a death animation, so that when we kill our big dummy here, he's going to die. So while that's doing its thing, then we know that it's going to actually work. We're actually going to hit him. So we need to now take away some health. So what do you think? About 25 health. Hello, Incognito. Sorry, I'm kind of focused in on what I'm doing here, and I'm not watching either of the chats as much as I probably should. We need to take away 25 health, roughly, per swing of the sword. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We're hitting our hitbox. Our sword's doing its thing. It's triggering the text saying, ouch, damn it, that hurt. So I'm going to go ahead and get health. Again, if you guys didn't know the little trick on that, if you hold down Control and left click and drag, you'll get a get reference. If you hold down the alternate key and left click and drag, then that will drag out a set node. So let's do a quick test again, spitballing here. We want to get our health. We want to set our health actually to health minus, so we're doing float minus float, and we'll connect that in here. And again, let's go ahead and let's try 25. So we'll do 25 health each time it overlaps. So let's do a compile and save. And just so we know that we're doing our thing and killing them, let's go ahead and do another get health. Let's see, we'll do a branch. And we want to see, we're doing a float. We want to check if it's less than or equal to 0. Let's just a death check real quick. So with that death check, what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if our health is 0 or less than 0. If so, then we want to, again for now, print text. And, oh crap, I'm dead. And let's go ahead and leave that one in blue, and we'll leave it for, let's put it there for 5 seconds. And then instead of just doing a print text, you could just also do destroy actor, and it'll make them go away. So let's see if any of this works. Yes, do your dance. You're so precious. All right. So let's come over here and not close enough. Not close enough. Not close enough. There we go. All right. So we got 4 hits, but what's happening is the sword is double striking. And if you don't know what that means, is the sword itself is still on the collision of forward, that was good, forward, that was good, forward, so it just instantly gets rid of them. Again, it still can double hit. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of the hitbox. So a little bit easier to hit. Let's try that. So the reason why that I did the animation starter pack animations is I want to get the death animation, and we can do a cheesy death animation here. Still kind of far out, but alright. And he's dead. And he doesn't have any movement at all either. Not worried about that as much. We can focus in on that later. So with the animation starter pack, now that it's here, we don't really care about the animation, the actual the mesh, the mannequin for this. We don't care about him at all. So one thing you can do, and let's see if I can get as much of this done at one time as possible. And no, well, let's do all of the animations. That'd probably be easier to go ahead and do it this way, and then uncheck the ones that are not the animations. Okay, so with just the animations, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to, I don't want to retarget it that way. Sometimes you can get away with doing this way, and you'll get a second option here. I don't want to duplicate it, but if I have to, I will. So for now, let's go to our UE4 mannequin. And we have this mannequin here. We're going to do a simple retarget. Lovely. It's going to start pouring ass rain, so this is a noisy room, so if it's too loud, you guys let me know. But have to give me just a second here to close the door. Okay, so well, it's not showing I've had any dropped frames so far. So what we need to do is do a retarget here. I'm going to open up this mannequin. He's in the Y pose, lovely, everything's good to go. I'm going to try initially without having to retarget that way. But, and honestly, right now all I need is just one animation. I don't need to worry about doing all of them. We'll just take this death animation and we'll go ahead and retarget and see it's not showing up right there. So yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and do the mesh for this mannequin. Let's go ahead and select the rig as a humanoid rig, but you notice the Paragon rigs are already there. So if we wanted to work with those, we've got a separate rigging just for them. Something for another day. Alright, so we don't have to retarget anything else on that. Let's go ahead and save his bovine and go to our UE4 mannequin. And he's already got his own animations, which is fine. But let's go ahead and go to the mesh folder, and that skeleton, we'll set him as the humanoid rig. And save. Now we can go back into our other animation that we wanted, our death animation. And death 1's going to be good enough. So let's go ahead and duplicate and retarget to our UE4 mannequin. And I want to go ahead and change the location that it's going to save it to. And actually, let's cancel because I didn't make a folder for it. NPC, yes, got to make a folder for everything. Let's go with animations. Now it's there. So we can come back in here and change the folder we want it to go into. And it's going to go to characters, NPC, animations. Naming wise, everything should be okay, because it just says death 1. But I'm going to go ahead and prefix it with UE4 underscore, just so we have a little bit of difference in it. And let's go ahead and retarget. And you see it created it with UE4 underscore death 1. Lovely. So we can open up that animation, and that's it. Now we're going to do one more thing here, and we're going to pause it, go all the way to the very end, so we see he is in that death state right there. May or may not need this. I do this anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and make a static mesh. And I'm going to go to the characters folder, NPC, animations, and name is going to be death pose. So we just created a pose, essentially. That's a static mesh. Nice shot there, bro. I don't want to see your electronic junk. Damn you. So we just have that. So two options here. Whenever our NPC dies, is in our event graph, we're going to delete these two guys. So what we want to happen is, okay, he's at 0 health, so play animation, and you go down here. You do what I tell you to do. We want to play our animation, and we want it to be UE4 Death 1. And let's go ahead and do a quick save all. And it's not going to be looping. We want it to happen one time. And let's go ahead and compile and save again. And let's see what happens whenever we go do a little hacking and slashing with our cheeky. And him died. So there's more things you can do, and let's actually go ahead and bring him out from the corner a little bit. And actually, let's go ahead and go to our details panel. 0, 0. Let's put him right there in the middle. And that way we can see him a little bit better. Yeah, see that sort of attack is doing way too much at one time. So we'll have to adjust that. So he's dead. He's laying there. And we can do a few things that... Sup, dude in purple? And see my boy Adeline. Is he in here? No, he was. But... yeah, so he's dead. So we need to get rid of his corpse after a little while, and we can actually replace him with a pickup later. We don't have any pickups. So let's look at the NPC base again, and we're going to add a delay. Let's give it 5-second delay, and then we can do a destroy actor. Now, if you have any effects or special effects you want to add in here, this will be a good time to do it, so that you can have like an explosion or smoke coming off of his corpse or what have you. So you actually have some other stuff. It was nice of you to join us, Adeline. You'll never talk to me in Discord, but that's okay. You know, I understand. You don't love your beef anymore. Everybody loves good beef every now and then. See, I got 3 hits with that one sword attack. So we'll have to adjust that. And actually, we could probably go ahead and do a delay. So it doesn't matter how many times you attack, there's a delay in the time. So let's go ahead and we won't put a large delay in. We want it to be like a point or a default 0.2. Yeah, let's go ahead and try that. Just to see if that will prevent us from getting double and triple strikes with the sword. There we go. That's one. And that was still a double strike. Oh well, yeah, this is stuff we can sort through. So we got a target dummy that we can kill. What I'll do is I'll make it actually animate. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we'll catch up more on Discord. So we need to do some pickups because we've got our. Oh. Yeah, that kind of sucked. It just double whammied on us at one time. So we'll go to our assets, our triggers, pain trigger, and let's not make it do 50 health. Let's make it do 20 health on that. And let's close some of these guys down. We don't need so much stuff open right now. And just for the giggles, we're going to do a save all again. And there we go. That was still a large chunk there. Why did it not? Do 10 health? If I'm moving too fast on things, let me know. These are, the pain trigger was something I covered in another video. So it's a little bit better. Die punk. Well, that was nice of him. He just like spazzed out. There's a lot of little things we need to do to kind of make it to where it's not quite as abrupt, if that makes sense. There's some little smoothing things we need to do. So let's actually look at doing a quick pickup item. I don't have any assets to go along with this, so I don't have any really awesome pickup items or bottles or anything else. Close down some of these other things. So our assets, triggers, let's go ahead and create a new blueprint. Be an actor class, and let's call this oh, this is in a triggers folder. We don't want the triggers folder. Yes, it matters. I'm that guy. Call it pickups folder. Let's create a health potion. So blueprint actor, do health pickup. Let's go in here, and we need to have for now we'll just use a basic shape. Let's do a cube. Yes, isn't that a beautiful health pickup? Let's pick it up in the air a little bit. We need a box collision. Let's go ahead and add that in. Now, I just want this box collision to be, well, let's try the size of the box itself. So let's actually resize it down. That's good enough. We really can't see the collision box, and that's fine. And I'm not really worried about the actual looks of things right now. Okay, so I lied. I'm going to be a dork. With the cube, let's go ahead and just add rotating movement to it. And you get your ass right there. So we'll take a look at it. We're going to go ahead and shove it right over there, and let's take a look at it. Isn't that awesome? It just floats in the air, and it's rotating, it's spinning. It's just so cool. Alright, so let's actually make it functional. So we want to ensure that the cube itself has no collision. So we're going to go to collision presets and no collision. Again, compile and save. And then on this collision box, let's go ahead and on collision begin overlap, or on component begin overlap. And thank you for not switching automatically. That would be lovely. We don't need the rest of you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and cast to our player underscore base. Hook up our other actor to there, and we want to immediately give us health. Once we have an inventory system in and working, we'll make this to where when you pick it up, it goes to your inventory. But instead, for right now, let's go ahead and get our health. We're going to go ahead and set our health, and we want to do a float plus float, and then we want to connect these two together, connect that, and we want to give us, we're going to get 25 health every time. So now every time we pick up one of those, we're going to get 25 health. And then we want it to go away, so we'll type in destroy actor. So after we pick it up, walk through it, it'll disappear and give us 25 health. So let's give that a shot. Oh no, we're taking damage. Oh no, that hurts. Okay. There we go. So I'm actually going to put a couple of them in there so we can see. Just in case. So let's go ahead and take some damage. And now we're healed back up. But we can actually gather all of them even though we don't need them. So we want to go ahead and prevent that from happening. So this for now is good. We're okay with that. And again, we're going to do a save all. I don't like autosave. I would prefer to manually save everything. So we'll go to our character folder, our player base. We're doing everything in player base so that it carries over. See, what we have is our health regen is packaged up here, and it was actually inside that. All of our health regen stuff. Collapsing nodes like that, it means you can pack a lot of stuff in and it just doesn't look all cluttery. It can help you to organize your overall appearance of your blueprints. And yes, it does matter. So I'm just going to type in for the health regen on that, so I know what's in that little box, even though I knew it was there anyway. So we have on our event begin play. That's all lovely. It's creating our player HUD. We've got our event tick, which is doing our health regen automatically. So we're going to go ahead and create another one similar to our health regen. And let's come over here and create a custom event. And we're going to call this health check. And the health check is just going to check our overall health to make sure that we're not going above and below. Or did we already do that? Yeah, we got that covered in our health regen. Never mind. You guys are going to let me do something all over again? So we don't need that. So we can actually do all this inside of the pickup itself then. So we can actually, we're looking at all this stuff right here, and that's great. It's lovely. But we're going to slide you over here for just a minute, and we're going to go ahead and get our health. And we want to do a branch. So we need to confirm whether or not we need to pick it up or not. So if our health is let's see. Let's go with equals to. So only if you're at 100%, then it'll prevent you from getting it. So it's going to check to see if you're already at full health. And if you are at full health, you're not going to be able to pick up the med kit. So let's give that a shot and see how it works. You're so lovely. All right, let's go. All right, so we've taken damage, and okay, yeah, you guys let me do that. Oh, how do you guys let me do that? We want to do on our health check. I feel like a jackass. If our health is less than 100, not equal to 100, dumbass. You guys let me do that. I know you're on a delay, but you still saw me do it and let me get away with it. Alright. So now it's going to see if our health is below 100. If it is below 100, then we can pick it up. All right, now we're at 100, so we're not able to pick them up anymore. But one thing is not is you are not alive. So okay, I got to leave it right there. It said I am a big D. I'm sorry, but okay, mind out of the gutter. So yeah, our health pickups, as lovely as they are, will only work if we need them. So that way we're not hogging them all. So if somebody else needs one, they can get one. So what else do we need to do here? What else would we like to see? Let's look at the mesh, and let's go ahead and scale that down. By scaling it in half, everything else scales with it, the collision box and all too. So they're not as gaudy. So I guess while we're doing this, let's go ahead and, this is absolutely boring with no sound whatsoever. Most of you guys know that I like sounds, I like noise, I like hearing stuff. So let me actually find my folder. The joy of having 3 monitors is you can actually do things off screen at the same time. And on our assets, we need to go ahead and create a new folder called audio, and you know I'm going to do it. So sounds, and I'm going to do a separate one just for music, and it's just got to have some background sound too. And I hate doing the I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Add new, add features or content pack, and I'm going to add in starter content. It's way too big, and I'm going to end up getting rid of the majority of it just so I can get a couple pieces. I need to probably just go ahead and get my own sound set up for this, but for now I'm going to go ahead and add it. This is going to increase the file size exponentially, but then again, the Shinbi download, adding her to this by herself is like 2 gigabytes, and so is Decker. Yes, Decker's hiding down right there. So we're adding the starter content into this project. I'm pretty much only going to use a couple things, and I'm going to delete the rest. But in our starter content, what we wanted was in the audio folder, background cue, the starter background cue. And I know that it's 10,000 seconds in duration. It's a hell of a WAV file, right? So let's actually go to our blueprint, open level blueprint, and we've got this stuff in here. That's awesome. We can leave it. From right here, I still like doing it this way, even though it's not necessary, is to add a sequence in. So with the sequence node, I can split directly off, and these guys will work just the way they're supposed to, but I have a whole separate extra branch here where I can do play sound. So play sound at location. You get your ass up there. We don't need you anymore. I'm going to go ahead and select my starter background cue, go back into it, hit my arrow, it's there. We're going to set the volume to 0.6. Sounds lovely. We're not worried about the location or anything else. So then we want to add a delay. Delay is going to be 10,001 seconds, and we'll loop it back in. So this is going to add some background sound to the map. So now when we go into play, I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but it's just a little extra sound is playing back there, a little static noise. But by adding that in, we also added in some effects, particles, steam. So now we have steam and smoke and so forth. And just because I want to be oddball, let's go ahead and go back to our NPC. And let's go ahead and extend this out. And I'm going to say, screw it, let's make it 20 seconds just because we want to see this. Play... What do we want to play? We want to play something here. We want to play a... It's one of those senior moments. No, we want to spawn. Spawn emitter at location. Probably could have done attached also. But we want to go ahead and add in... there's all kind of effects already in here from her. I forgot about that. So yeah, we can actually add in hit effects from the stuff that we have from there. But just for the giggles, we're going to add steam effect coming off the corpse. And to get our location, let's just go ahead and get a reference to our mesh. And we'll do... We want to get world location. And then we can attach that to there. So it should... Will we kill our guy? Yikes. Yeah, we're going to have to do a lot of tweaking there. So let's see what happens whenever it actually goes away. And it spawned the emitter at his foot. Yeah, it's not going to go away the way we want it to. So yeah, that's it's set to auto destroy. You know what? Hell with it. We're going to get rid of it for now. That's good enough. And let's bring that back down to 10 seconds. So, seeing that we've got all these different hit effects, I'm actually going to close that down for right now. With the Shinbi, we look in FX. There's a lot of different particles. There's a lot of the other attacks are in here as well, like the attack wolves, circling wolves, dash, primary, and ultimate. All of those are in here. We've even got the emotes, like kiss, level start, heart, particle system. I'm not sure what any of these are. I really haven't played around with them a whole lot. Okay. So that's something we'll have to come back to. And you got recall markers. You got a bunch of different things. But I think really and truly the only thing we want to look at for now is the fact that we can actually call on these and make them work. But any of you guys here that were actually have actually played this game? I never have. I'm going to close down these effects for right now. So I don't know anything about the original game itself. So you guys are going to have to like bear with me on that. I'm actually going to go into my audio folder and I'm going to go to my sound folder. And I do want to go ahead and grab another sound from the old hard drive here. So we're going to want to attach to the health pickups so that when we walk over it, then it makes a sound. And I've got a couple of them I want to drag in. I think that's it. Alright, so and again, Unreal Engine 4 is actually being a pain in the ass. Sound folder is just turned black. So, and that's good. And another one we're going to need later on is the click sound. And let's go to the music folder. And just because I'm going to be a pain in the ass, some of you guys are probably going to scream because you've heard this song in other of my projects. Yeah, maybe time to restart Unreal Engine 4 because it's starting to act like a pain in the ass again. Okay, so maybe that one is not as appropriate for this kind of thing. So and I know you guys have heard this one as well. I do have some other music that I can do. In fact, I've got a couple other ones that actually be a lot better than this one. But we'll leave it in here for now. So with our blessing sound that I just put in here, what we can do is attach that to when we actually pick up our health pickup. So what we can do here is right before the destroy actor, let's go ahead and do play sound at location, and you can do blessing, and again we want to get our location, and let's just do the same thing. Get world location, attach that into there, and that way, and I don't have any attenuation settings. Attenuation settings, if you don't know what that is, means that you can localize the sound. So if you're on the other side of the map, you don't hear somebody else picking up the health files. All right, there we go. Those work, and I did notice that there were some sounds in here we can do, like for the pain pad, the pain trigger. And what we could do here is, again, not pay, but play sound at location. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the actual sound itself in the Shinby folder, and I don't exactly remember where it was. Probably in the sound folder. That would be a good place for it, right? The sound cues. There's a whole bunch of sound cues that are already preset up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, we don't want death. We want to find one that has something to do with pain. How about one that says pain? Let's go with that one. Pain heavy. So now we can, when we hit that, and I'm going to lower the health down to 5 that it takes away, just so we can run over it a couple times. Besides sounding funny as hell, it's playing it multiple times. So we're going to have to put a delay in that. It does sound funny though. A lot of times doing a default of 0.2 on the delay will help fix some of those little issues. There we go. Alright, so she makes a little noise. I am so not going to make any comments right now. With that pain trigger, whatever, let's go ahead and add in a second sound just to be whatever. Alright, and it is play sound at location, because I knew that I was going to do this. And explosion Q, and we also want to spawn emitter at location. And type of emitter is going to be, actually we don't have to use, I always use that default explosion one, but let's see if there's anything that we can just pick up out of here. That looks lovely. And now we need to go back and do what we did before here. Grab our cube. We need to get our world location. Plug that into here. And we can go ahead and plug it into both of these as well. Not truly necessary, but we're going to do it anyway. So this is going to give us a little extra flair. Alright, you're all perky now, but let's see what happens when we hurt you. Sounds like a cheap porno in here. Alright, so that's cool. So, same thing can be done for the, see, we had a double strike from one sword attack. And again. So we're going to have to increase that delay on the sword attack. It's just, there's no other way around it here. So our delay that we added in, let's increase that to 0.5. It's essentially doubling it. And we're done with our pain trigger. It's doing what we need to do. Do a quick save all. That's better. So, you guys got any requests on things? Let me know. Like I said, this is just me doing what I would have been doing if I had been sitting here playing with myself. Yeah, I said it. Anyway, how about some hit effects on our dummy? So let's actually see what we actually have. I don't have any sound effects for any of the other characters, but what I can do is, and I don't want to do it right now because it's going to probably cause some issues with it, is I will come in here and grab one of the male characters and add it to the project, and it should have the sound files that we need for some pain effects and things of that nature. So for now, we won't have any effects for when we actually hit the mannequin. So really quickly, then let's go ahead and close down the Shinbi folder here and character folder, assets, and let's look at Decker. And I know that it's going to cause the shaders to work here, but let's look at the mesh folder for now. And Decker, the first time we load it in, it usually is going to compile shaders. So we've got her in here. She has a staff. The problem that we're going to run into is if we use her right now and use the same animation set as what Shinbi is doing, it's not going to look as good. But we can experiment with it really quickly. And there is no blueprint. She has all of her animations, so we in theory should make our own animation blueprint and so forth. But let's go to our characters folder, and whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and make a child blueprint class of the NPC base, and we're going to call this Decker A for AI. And let's see what happens when we change the mesh. Now that's another thing we can do as well. We've got 3 different characters for Shinbi. 3 different skins. But let's go ahead and go with Decker. And let's go ahead and get rid of our text render. She's not a big dummy. Okay. You are just being a pain in my ass. I can't get rid of it because it's on player base. Never mind. Anyway, so let's try our animations here. Let's see what happens when we use Paragon animation. It didn't work. How about Shinbi? Yeah, not working either. How about third person? We're just not going to get lucky with this, are we? So we don't have an animation blueprint that's going to work with Decker right now. Oh well. Kind of thought we might be able to get lucky on this, but we're not getting lucky with Decker. Sorry. But we can just go ahead and throw her out here on the map anyway and take a look. I was hoping that if it would work doing it this way, then it would let the third person animation blueprint. We don't want that. We want Shinbi. Actually, no, we don't. We're on the wrong one. It helps to be in the right character. Open the blueprint back up. But changing the mesh out, we've got Decker, and I've tried all these different animation blueprints, and they're just not going to work. Because the animation blueprint actually does work with the it has references to the actual character itself. So I'm going to open the Decker skeleton. You see it's got Paragon Proto retarget. See, this is where it gets problematic, is in the retargeting. If we were to now come back over to our UE4 mannequin and retarget his skeleton again, it's just going to cause problems. So we're going to have to make a full custom animation blueprint that is going to be just for, so we got that Paragon animation blueprint. We're going to actually have to, we're going to have to retarget it. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate animation blueprint and retarget. We'll see if we, nope, we won't be able to get away with it. looking to see if the decker was already there. So we know that it's not. So we're going to actually have to do set up our rig as a Paragon. But if you look, there's two. We can try to retarget her to the rig for Shinbi. However, I'm going to try humanoid. Worst case scenario, I have to delete it. So let's see if it's going to let us do that. Absolutely not. So we would end up having to go back into Shinbi and her mesh and retarget her as humanoid rig. It's a lot of damn trouble just to try to get something to animate. And I guarantee you it's going to get a whole lot more ugly. So now that it says humanoid rig, then we can retarget the UE4 mannequins as well to do the same thing. So let's actually change the folder so we know that it's going in the right place. Character, player, blueprints, because that's where the other one is. And we're going to replace Paragon underscore with Decker. And let's see how bad that works. Alright. Oh, I love it whenever you just throw everything all in one folder, you jackass. So, new folder called Animations. And now we're going to have to come through here and find all of these. Okay, and let's move those out. That was the montage, blend space, all the stuff got retargeted at once. So now let's go ahead and do a save all. And let's see if that worked. Not that, you dumbass. Y'all just let me do all kind of shit wrong tonight. That's lovely. Yeah, that is just awesome. Nice boob shot, but I'm thinking there might be a problem with that, but I don't know. That looks like crap. We've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, we're just going to forget about that. Now, normally, whenever you would go to a T-pose, when you retarget, so I'm going to go ahead and grab all those animations that we just did, and I'm going to go ahead and delete them. Force delete. Kiss my ass. Come on. Delete your assets. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Decker animation blueprint. And yeah, normally I would stick to a T pose, but when all the characters are already in a Y pose, you don't have to. Oh, yeah, I forgot. The swarm. yeah, whenever your character you're remapping, you don't really shouldn't have to remap the pose, because she's in a Y pose, the UE4 mannequin's in a Y pose, uh, Shinbi is in a Y pose. Well, I mean, I can modify the pose. See, the arms are down in the same manner as that, and those were the two that I were remapping from, but I was doing the actual UE4 mannequin was also mixed into that, and UE4 mannequin's also in a Y pose, but the arms are a little bit more up. I didn't actually retarget on Shinbi, and what I was doing was retargeting Decker to the Shinbi. So with their arm positions are exactly the same. But I retargeted as humanoid. The difference is here, this is Decker, and technically if I were to retarget this way, that's Shinbi. So let's save that, and want to make sure that she's also on the same. So that should be correct now. So if I go into my animation, or my blueprint actually, and I'm actually going to go ahead and move that into there. So I'm going to retarget this one to the Decker skeleton. Hey, Zimpy. So let's see how bad this one is. So we're going to, again, we'll do Paragon underscore and replace it with Decker underscore, and change the folder and then, now look at that. Before we even retarget, we can see that she's in a T-pose. Why in the hell is she in a T-pose? Alright, let's go to Decker. Go into her mesh. And let's modify pose. Use current. See, what I think is going on here is the actual rig is different. So what I've done is on Decker, I've done a modify pose and view pose. They're all going to be the same now. So if you do modify pose and use current, that locks her into what you see right there. And yep, retargeted. Current skeleton says out of date. What you got idea wise? Now, see, she's in a Y pose now. So let's see if it looks screwed up again. Pirate Battle Royale. Yeah, I've been considering doing that as well, with the assets from the Polygon. but trying to come up with a good method of spawning the players other than just, with Fortnite, you've got the bus. Like, a bus is going to be floating through the damn air. Like, that's believable to begin with. So let's go ahead and do a save all real quick. But how would you spit the characters out in different locations? Jump start. Yeah, I've looked into doing the boats, and I've already come up with a couple different ways of doing the boats so that when they're sitting in the water level doesn't float through the boat as well. What's inside the boat that will be under the water line, I already know how to fix that now. So let's go back to our Decker blueprint, our viewport, and mesh. Let's try like that. Compile and save. Oh. I don't know if you guys saw that, but yeah, she does the same start effect. I'm actually going to go ahead and move her over. And really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the text render off of the character. It's cool and all that, but I don't want all of them saying you're a big dummy. So let's go ahead and turn her around. Because we copied the blueprint from the animation blueprint from Shinbi to Decker, Decker is going to do the same start animation. Okay. Yeah, it's still off a little bit. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to have to make a whole entire new animation blueprint. Just wanted to, yes, ouch. Yeah, she doesn't have the death animation, so it's not going to work the same way as our regular target dummy is. So, yeah. Alright, so with the way we got things going right now, Project Paragon, do a quick recap, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Decker. She's just not going to work for us for right now. It's going to require a lot of extra work and setting up full animation blueprint and so forth. But to do a quick recap, since we've been going for about an hour and 25 minutes roughly, we have Shinbi, our lovely little lady. She does her little start animation. We don't have the mouse cursor on the screen like we did before. We have working sword and combo. We have the pain pad. We have health pickups, even though they're ugly. We have a little bit of sound going on, and we have a target dummy that we can kill. Alright, so that's good. Plus we fixed our jump. I don't know if you guys noticed in the previous videos, the jump on her animation blueprint left a little bit to be desired. And the way I fixed that was, just as a recap, our player base and our character movement. The default, whenever you first start playing around with Shinbi, the default jump was set to 300. So that was her jump to begin with, and it looks really dumb. So what I've done is I've gone into character movement and I've reset it to 500, but like I said, you can do whatever number you want. I mean, crap, let's put 1200 in there, which is a little on the too high side. fun to play with, but not practical. So 500 is the sweet spot for her. Not 50. All right. So that's about right, I think. You guys think that looks better? All right. One little quick thing. So we'll round this video off at an hour and a half. I can do this in less than 5 minutes. Is something that I've put into Project Cog, and I love it. It's a goofy little thing, but you know what? I'm going to throw it in here anyway. Let's go ahead and close up some of these extra folders. We don't need to open them right now. Yeah, let's go into our assets folder and triggers. Create a new blueprint, actor, and let's go ahead and put the launch pad in there. I love them. They're fun to play with. They make just I'm happy. Makes I don't know. Shit. I like it. It's fun. So the cube. Let's go ahead and add in a box collision. The cube. We need to go ahead and make it to 0.2. Go 2 by 2 by 0.2. The box collision. We're going to go ahead and move it up a little bit, and we're going to resize it to 1.5 by 1.5 by 10. All right, essentially a launch pad, when you step onto whatever the thing is, it throws you up into the air. It is so simple to make this. Like I said, you could do a quick version like this with just a cube or a model for you to step onto, a box collision for you to walk into, and then you want to go ahead and do your component on begin overlap. You don't need any of that junk. You need to cast to your player. And of course for me, player base is my character. So you cast your player base, and as player base, launch character. It is that simple. I mean, literally, it's that simple. Your launch velocity. We're going to go on the Z value of 1,000. Compile, save, and let's go ahead and throw one in the map. And hit play. So, little unassuming little thing like that. By doing it that way, you still have control. 1,000 is a little bit too much for right now for this arena. So I'm going to do 500. Let's see what 500 looks like. So if this was a larger arena, then yeah, 1,000 or 15,000, whatever you want to put on there. You know, 500, 750, 1,000 makes for fun, especially whenever you're doing a shooter. You're playing Project Cog, and you're sitting there. You got people in that small arena map that I made. It was a lot of fun because you're sitting there jumping up and down and trying to hit people in the air. Using this to spring from one position to another. So like if you're doing a platforming area where you need to spring to jump up from one piece to another piece or whatever, you could use these launch pads, and they're, like I said, they're so freaking simple. I mean, literally, that's it. You have a cube, a collision box, and then the collision box for your begin overlap. So on component begin overlap, cast to your player base, hook it up to your other actor, create a node off of as player base, launch player. I mean, you don't have to do the Z velocity. You can actually do that to 0, and launch in the x-axis, or y, or z, or both, or hell, set it for random. See, it just shoved us to the side there. So if you're wanting to knock somebody off of an area, 500 is a little bit weak on a lateral like that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one as 2,000. So as you got somebody trying to sneak past somewhere, oh crap, it just throws them off to the side. So it forces them back into a zone. So you can do this for all kind of stuff. If you wanted to add an axis to it, so it's going to kick us off from one side and in the air a little bit. So launch pads are so much fun to play around with. Blink. So yeah, if you can force someone back to a certain area, especially if you're trying to force someone from cheating, or like I said, you just want to get someone into a different location. There's so many different things you can do with these launch pads that it's just a lot of fun. I usually just do it for vertical. I said 500, 1,000, whatever. All right. So we've been going for an hour and a half. And yeah, we'll smooth that out right here with the animations and so forth. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is kind of an impromptu live stream. And if you guys want me to live stream more while I'm actually doing this kind of stuff, or working on other projects, let me know. And I don't mind doing it. I've got some other problems I've got to sort out with Unreal Engine 4. I'm probably going to end up having to uninstall everything and reinstalling it again. But I will try to go ahead and archive this project so it's not lost. The other project series that I was doing, I did save that one. So I can always bring that back in. Plus I've got the simple multiplayer thing. I just need to update my plugins so they're going to work with 4.19, which is not a problem. You know, I've been using that simple multiplayer for quite some time. And for you guys who haven't purchased it, $10. You're putting money in my pocket so I can stay fat, dumb, and happy. I don't work. I can't work. I get stuck in this chair. I'm lucky to be able to stand up to go shopping for groceries for 10, 15 minutes at a time. So I'm not an invalid or anything, but you know, I'm pretty much stuck. You know, I can't work, so I'm having to essentially live off of the fact that, you know, I've got other things going on, and you know, my food and my shelter and my internet and all that's all taken care of. So it's not that I'm starving or anything, but I can't really spend any money on anything because I don't have any money. You know, a few bucks here and there, but so I was trying to sell that simple multiplayer template for $10. It was at least something, and I think it works pretty good. So, you know, Zimpy and some of the other ones here that are watching the stream, he's part of my team here, but he's used it. He knows that it works. It's bulletproof. You know, if you want to make your own project based off of that simple multiplayer system, you have a built-in working multiplayer system where all you have to do is start building around it and make sure all your stuff is replicated. And the replication part, I'm going to be learning more myself about it, but there's some things you really have to take into account. Like health is one of the things that has to be replicated. There are certain things that have to be replicated so that whenever, your sword attack, whenever you're doing your sword attack, other people see you doing that sword attack. So I guess what I can do is, off camera, I'm going to go ahead and try to incorporate that simple multiplayer structure into this project, and we'll see how that goes. Of course, I'm going to have to do some minor changes here and there so that I can import it correctly, but if you guys want me to do that, it's not that I'm going to be able to do a whole lot of uploading on this project because of the file size of everything. is right now, as we're sitting here, and I'm going to go ahead and get an approximate file size for this project with Decker, Shinby, starter content, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The folder size for the Paragon project on my hard drive is 3.25 gigabytes. And again, some of that can be trimmed down, such as the I can get rid of any reference that I had to the starter content and get rid of a bunch of that. I know that I don't need the maps folder in here, so I can definitely get rid of that. The HDRI, I'm not going to need that. I can go ahead and get rid of that as well. Yeah, I don't care. The blueprints that are inside this, I know I'm not going to use those blueprints for anything. Only thing really I'm going to use is the audio and I'm probably not even going to do the particle effects from here. I'm going to probably change all those back out because we've got so many of them from the other one. So there's a lot of trimming down that I can physically do in here. It's like the in Shinby, I can go into hers, and I'm not going to need the maps folder. I'm not going to use it. Same thing with Decker. I can get rid of that. I don't need the maps in it. So there's a lot of things that I can do to trim the fat, so to speak, on some of these. Trimming the maps out is one of the first things you can do for some of these other asset packs, because if you're not going to use the maps, they're just dead weight. So just getting rid of those maps folders and just leaving our map folder. The only map in the entire project right now is this one you're looking at. So it takes a couple minutes sometimes to delete these maps because they're big. They're hogs. So as soon as that maps folder is gone, I will go ahead and just quickly check to see what the file size is without them. Oh, good God Almighty! How long is it going to take for you to do that? Yeah, good old Unreal Engine 4. I didn't drop any frames for over an hour on this broadcast, and just now all of a sudden, Unreal Engine 4 is worrying about its swarm connection and everything else, and it caused me to drop almost 500 frames. Why in the hell are you compiling shaders when I'm deleting shit? See, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about with Unreal Engine 4 right now. Is it just starts doing dumb shit. So right now it's a perfect time, since we have gotten some good stuff done, just screwing around mostly. But go ahead and end the live stream for now. If you guys want me to stream again later, I will. But I guess I can get a file size while I'm waiting on that. Goody! The next door idiot decided to fire up his extremely loud motorcycle. So getting rid of the maps folder, all three locations right there, got rid of 1/4 gigabyte. Not much, but enough. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I know I had a couple people in here watching, and it's always a good thing. If anybody wants to catch up with another live stream later, I did save this one, but I'm not always going to save all of these videos. Let me know. But alright guys, you can contact me on Discord, and if you got any questions or you want to see anything in particular, just let me know. I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be available on Discord, but I'm going to restart Unreal Engine 4 because it's being a pain in the ass. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.